Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sure.
Well, when Dad was coaching, when he was the head coach, I was on my way to Hawaii, University of Hawaii. And I didn't even know that he got the job until I got to, a friend of mine saw it on the news. And so I called him. I said, Dad, how come you didn't tell me? He goes, hey, you'll find out eventually. It's okay. It's like, no big deal.
Right.
And so then when I came and was talking to my sisters, she said that Dad told her that he didn't know he had the job until he was walking around and people were saying congratulations. And he was like, he was in the office and he was like, what for? Because they didn't tell him before it hit the news.
Oh, wow.
So he didn't even know he had the job.
Oh, my goodness.
He coached the way he was like a dad. He was very calm.
Oh, very calm.
Very calm. The only time I heard him yell is when I slammed the door by mistake when he was taking a nap.
Oh.
And he just woke up and was like, wah! Then he went right back to sleep. That was the extent of he's very calm.
When he was assistant coach with the Bucks, when I was the trainer,
Mm-hmm.
when we go into Boston, he would take me every time we went in to Filene's basement.
Oh, yes.
To get a good deal on a new shirt and a tie for the game.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And Bill Walton just loves your dad. I mean, so many players that played for him loved him.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great guy.
Bill always talks about him, and I had just nothing but warm feelings for him. He was tremendous.
I'm so glad you got to know him.
And he played, and I asked him one time, I said, why were the Boston Celtics so good? He said, teams would beat us for 3 quarters. And then he said, they would look up and go, oh my gosh, it's the Boston Celtics. We can't win this game. And they would lose in the 4th quarter.
Yes.
He was a player. He would tell me, he told me that story when he was a player with Bill Russell and Sat Sanders and John Havlicek and all those guys. And because I always asked him, I said, why did you guys always win at the end of the game? He goes, because they realized we were the Boston Celtics. They finally woke up after 3 quarters. He goes,
yeah, and freaked themselves out.
yeah, exactly. That's exactly what he told me. Exact words. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
They loved it. I loved their camaraderie as a team when he was a player.
Yeah.
They were brothers no matter what happened, and Red was the dad.
Oh, yeah.
No matter what happened. And
that's right.
To this day, I mean, all the way up until when Dad passed, for Dad, Red was his father.
Yeah. No, I understand. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
They were my favorite team growing up by far. I love them.
Yeah. They were awesome.
They were the best. Nobody's better than that team. Nobody's better than that team to this day. I got to tell you something.
This is the part where we get all the dirty laundry about Casey Jones. Okay.
No, I got to tell you about your dad. This really happened.
Okay.
My brother came home one year, and your dad was going to help him to get a job somewhere in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to call. So it's like early in the morning, and I'm half asleep. I happen to wake up because I was thirsty. So I go get a drink of water, and your dad calls. And he goes, this is Casey Jones. Is your brother there? And I'm like, oh, yeah. I'll tell him you called. And I'm drinking the water. I just hung up on Casey Jones. What did I do? And my brother was so mad. And he goes, I didn't have a return phone call. I don't have the number.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and he never let me live that down.
Oh, no.
And I just was like, I just hung up on a Boston Celtic. Are you kidding me? That is a true story.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Amazing.
Yeah, I'll never forget it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You know why I never forget it? Because it cost me a job. That's
It cost you a job. That's right. Oh,
yes, that was brilliant on my part.
We got Rick Doc Walker in the house. How did you meet Tony, Rick?
Tony, how you doing?
Good, Ricky. How are you? It's great to see you.
Hey, man, good to be seen on both
I know.
ends.
Exactly.
That's
it's great
the key.
to be seen.
Yeah, I'd rather be seen than viewed. So
yes,
this is good. I just love hearing about the legends. Again, I got to work with Coach Thompson for over a decade, and
right,
the Celtic stories, and then Sam. We just lost Sam, and he was, and all of them. Red. I mean, I had a chance to interview Arback and Bill and all those guys. And growing up as a Laker fan, it was a rival.
Mm-hmm.
And so to actually get to meet these people as real, heroes and teamwork, and Red's explanation of the 6-man theory and how Havlicek had to buy into it
Mm-hmm.
was what we talk about analytics now. That was an analytic move made, 50 years ago.
Right.
And, by paying him as a starter, but as you take out one of your top 5, I add a guy in who's as good as anybody on our team, we gain an advantage. So I look at it as we're being taken over now by this analytical world of nerds, but that was real talk. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and it's interesting you mentioned analytics because baseball is being ruined by analytics.
Yeah, it is.
And it's and Ricky, it's really nice to see you and share a couple of things with you. But do you know the one difference that the Celtics had over the Lakers all those years?
Oh, Russell.
Oh, yeah, 11 times. Yeah.
Do you know the difference? I'll share my opinion. The difference was the Lakers had Mel Counts in the middle, and the Celtics had Bill Russell in the middle.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. In any other culture, he would be revered like Mike.
Oh, absolutely.
But we don't. It's about marketing, Bill. The media penalizes people that don't kiss their behind.
Right.
And it's done in voting. The Hall of Fame is a perfect example of it. The 75 anniversary team with no Adrian Dantley. What?
Right.
I mean,
right.
Because they consider him a jerk, and he didn't kiss their behind. And we see it. It took James Arthur Monk 4 or 5 years to get in. He was the all-time leading receiver when he retired. So because he didn't talk to the media, if you don't kiss their behind, they penalize you, later in life. And it's the way it is, man. It's
and on that, I'll make a comment. How does a guy like Derek Jeter not unanimously voted into the Hall of Fame in baseball? This guy on the field and off the field. I mean, who was the one person who didn't want to give him a vote?
Because it was Coach Gary Adams, wasn't it? Right, Gary? It was you. No, I'm kidding.
No, it was some jerk who, it's like Twitter. The voting, in my opinion, was Twitter before Twitter, Facebook before Facebook, because you don't get to know who voted. I'm for let's let everything be public. So we know where you stand.
Right.
They don't want that.
Right.
So they build an environment that a coward can exist in it. And some guy who consumes 150 hot dogs a season gets to determine what some stud who was perfect for the game. I was hoping they didn't do it to Cal. It's a vindictive swipe that these guys, he probably blew off an interview or did whatever, and they pay you back later in life. It's not fair, but nothing is.
Right. Do you know the last time we talked and I called in, you had a call-in show. I went the night that Cal Ripken broke the record of Lou Gehrig's record.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember, because I told you that. I said, we've known each other since UCLA, but before that, you didn't know that I was a former Dodger bat boy.
Yes.
And I shared that with you. And, I actually, I've got the tickets from the game that he signed for me.
Wow.
I got 2 tickets that he signed for me. Yes.
Because I've got to do opening day here at Oriole Park when Cal and that group was playing. They were champions, and that what he did that night is chilling. And then to know him here from a local standpoint, and I hosted an event where we honored him, and for him not to be a jerk and to sign. The one thing about baseball, I grew up a Dodger fan, and we had a church trip in 1967 up and me and my buddy Reginald Field, we missed the bus. I pushed the button on the elevator, ended up in the clubhouse. Walter Alston, I got a ball signed by Sandy Koufax, Maury Will, all these guys.
Right.
We're crying because we done missed the bus all the way from Orange County, Santa Ana, California.
Right.
So it's going to be a royal butt whipping when I get home. At this point, the switch is going to be on your behind either way you go. You might as well chalk it up now and go all in. And they couldn't have been nicer. And Tommy Lasorda, again, bench coach at that time. I'll never forget how nice they were and giving us balls and stuff. And we're crying. Parents had to come up, get in the car up, royal ass whooping over it. But I was all in, Dodger for life. And from 88 to this jump of being crowned kings, it's been a long deal, but I've always, Koufax, Peronowski, Drysdale, that staff, those years.
Well, the year that I was bat boy, we had the all switch hitting infield. And you know, Junior Gilliam at third, Maury Wills at short.
Yeah.
You know, Jim Lefevre at second.
Yeah.
Wes Parker at first, and Tom Howell were all switch hitters.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it was and you know, we've got two major league right now, two UCLA Bruins are two managers in Major League Baseball right now, you know.
Yeah, no, it's been it's, you know, the Nats here, and they beat the Dodgers, and it was living here. It was twice. I can't lose. Dodgers and Nats. Scherzer, who was there last year, and I was so disappointed that didn't finish well. And Frank Stevens, you know, Dynamite Stevens, he's a Padre fanatic. So we've been going over this for 40 years.
Right.
And now the Padres got a little punch in their bat, and it's been kind of competitive. And Ray Bell is a Giants guy, you know, Oakland, A's and that. So baseball, because for our generation, it was my first love.
Right.
I mean, the only reason I played football because I hurt my arm pitching. I had no intentions of playing football. I thought it was the dumbest thing you could do. If you could pitch or hit, you play baseball or run track or do anything, but put on all that gear and go out and be cursed out, be punished, and have to do snake drills and pit drills and every ridiculous thing that somebody could think of for football when you play baseball. Baseball, to me, I've coached out here on the East Coast with high schoolers. I had 7 years coaching, and they got quarterback running to the bench to get a play. Coach, we had signals at 11. We learned how to baseball. You learn signals at 10 and 11.
Right.
The hell can you have a 15-year-old, 16-year-old who's got to run to you to get a play? It's ridiculous, but these guys didn't play baseball.
You know what, Doc, when my brother went to the Cal Ripken thing, he did not tell me that he was going, and he came home to New Jersey, right? And I walk in the house, I go, what are you doing here? And he goes, oh, I went to the game. I go, what game? He goes, the Ripken game. I go, and you didn't tell me? Right? And I go, where'd you get the tickets? He goes, the president. I go, oh, the Orioles president? He goes, no, Bill Clinton. I'm like, no, you didn't. You don't understand how big my brother, he's the biggest star.
No. Hey, look.
Never heard of. Am I right?
He's a made man.
Yes.
So can all the guests who join us hear and see us?
Mm-hmm.
We did have a caller call in.
I can.
Hey, Coach Adams.
Gary Adams.
There
Hey, guys.
How you
How
doing,
you doing,
Coach?
Gary?
Yeah.
Coach UCLA?
Join you.
I don't know if you guys can hear me.
Yes.
Here we go. Hey, Coach. Yeah.
Bob Crawford.
All right.
I know Pooh Richardson's trying to get on. I'm going to give him a quick call to make sure he's having problems getting on, but see if I can do it here.
Gary, how you doing?
I'm doing good. And for an old man, everything is relative.
So I got to ask everyone this question, though. When you think of Tony Spino, what is the first thing that comes to mind?
Attention to detail.
Oh, he cares about people.
No question.
I met the man once, and I thought considerate was my first impression, especially when it comes to food. He made sure Bob and I were well fed at the house, leaving the house, and at the stadium.
That's a good point. When we go to Dodger games, he always wants to be the one to buy the hot dogs for me.
The Dodger dog, man. My 60th birthday. They said, what do you want?
Who wants to come on? He needs you to admit him on.
Jim Harrick.
Just needs
Jim Harrick.
Hey,
Oh,
Coach.
Yeah.
How you feeling,
Jim Harrick.
buddy?
Wow.
Hey, Coach.
What's
Yeah,
fellas?
that's awesome, man.
Gosh.
I spent my
Welcome back,
60th
Coach.
birthday at Chavez Ravine. And
We're
yeah.
Rob's trying to let you on. So
Go ahead.
So we got Pooh Richardson in queue here. I mean,
Okay.
we got quite the gallery, so I'm sure he's going to be on in a moment.
Coach Harrick, how you feeling?
Right, hear me?
Good.
Hi,
Fine,
Tony.
dog. How you
Yeah.
doing?
Hanging in there. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm hanging in there. Hanging in there.
Good.
You look good, Spine Dog. Can you move around a little bit?
No, not too much. I have to, I have to use a walker and some leg braces right now. And came
Getting
back,
better
had a
though.
doctor's appointment this morning at 8:30 in Santa Monica, and they're going to run some more tests. But you know how that goes.
Get a little bit better every day.
No, not really. I was doing really well, and it kind of gone downhill a little bit, kind of up and down. Yeah. So,
Got to be about attitude, Tony. It's Pat McBride, Dr. McBride here.
hey, doctor, how are you?
I'm doing well. You gotta keep a positive attitude, Tony. Keep
It's
going
been a
after
little,
it.
it's been a little tough mentally, I gotta admit. Yeah.
You bet.
You know, I've fallen the last couple of days pretty hard and outside and inside, and you know, it's just one day at a time, you know.
Yeah, there you go.
It's the only way to do it.
So how did
Yeah.
everyone come to meet Tony? Was it all through UCLA or other organizations?
Oh,
Oh
no.
no, Milwaukee Bucks,
Yes, my brother was a trainer there.
Yeah.
Yes. How
19.
you doing, Coach Eric? How you feeling?
Good, good. Doc, how are you?
Oh, actually, it was Bob who said that. But
Bob, how are you, buddy?
I'm hanging in there.
Thanks,
I'm glad to
thanks
see
for
you.
inviting me. Thanks for inviting me.
Oh, thanks for coming. We really appreciate it. I'm glad you're feeling a little bit better. I really am.
Good.
Oh yeah, we thank everyone who took the time to show up for this. I mean,
Yes.
but like Coach Gary Adams, right? You say Tony needs a little more exposure to the world, right?
Yes.
Uh,
You there,
how's-
Jan?
Jim Harrick, how are you doing now?
I'm doing good. Gary, how are you, man?
Well, I heard that you were sick.
Oh, I got a little bit, yeah, but I'm okay. I'm okay.
You're gonna
Don't
be
worry about
okay.
me. I got it covered.
You
Coach Harrick, who's winning the tournament this year in your prediction?
Boy,
In
I
mind?
tell you, I watched a little bit of ball, but I watched last Saturday. I watched a whole bunch of games, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and 9 all got beat. So, and I saw some really, really good teams last week. Auburn and Kentucky and Arkansas and Gonzaga got beat. Kansas got beat, but I saw some really good teams last week that any one of them can win it. Gonzaga's right there. You know, it's a toss up.
Look out for the Badgers.
Badgers are good, boy. They got one.
Oh, the
guy,
Big Ten's going to flop in the tournament, like
They
usually.
got
Come on,
one
Patrick.
guy that's
Come on.
really good. That one guy's really good.
Johnny Davis.
Johnny Davis. He's a fantastic player. He might be the best player in the country.
You bet.
He's pretty good.
Yeah, I don't think many people focused on Wisconsin winning the Big Ten league, regular season league, and they just went right past everybody without any notice. And you're right, that's a well-coached team. Yeah, and
Beat the number
Davis is
3
really
team
good.
twice.
Hmm?
They beat the number 3 team twice. Purdue twice.
Yep.
Yep. It's a
Very,
very
very
good
good.
team to
Pat,
win it.
how's your book going?
It's still going great, Tony. I've sold over 600 copies and still going. And I got you in the book, Tony. You're one of the stars of the book.
Well, that's very kind of you. Very kind.
Tony joined the Milwaukee Bucks in 1974. Is that right, Tony?
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And Tony and I worked several years together, and Tony was a heck of a trainer. Dedicated is a great word for Tony Spino. And he worked with some of the greats in the NBA and got chosen to be the trainer for the All-Star game in 1977. And,
He did. It was
Yes, sir.
amazing. It was an amazing game. I was there.
yeah,
It was awesome. It was one of the best games ever, actually. It was
yeah,
a 1-point final.
yeah. Dr. J was the MVP,
It was the MVP.
and Tony Spino was the backup MVP because Kareem forgot his warm-up. And so
Yeah, you want to tell everybody about that, Anth?
Yeah.
I'll let Pat tell it.
Yeah. So Tony brought out one of Kareem's old Milwaukee Bucks warm-ups and said, Kareem, you ought to wear this. And the crowd will go nuts. And Kareem said, are you sure, Tony? And said, Kareem, I'm sure. And Kareem came out in his old Milwaukee Bucks warm-up and the crowd went crazy. So Tony was the backup MVP.
Yes. Yes.
I think that was the first time the West had beaten the East in about 13 or 14 years. Yeah.
Right. Right. And the East was actually up by 10 at halftime, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
I believe so. Yeah. Yeah. That was an amazing game. That
Paul Westfall. Everybody.
Yo.
Paul Westfall. Paul Westfall should
The
have.
more guests have arrived.
Yeah.
Fine dog.
Who do we got?
We got Brian
Pooh.
Winters.
It's Brian Winters.
Pooh Richardson.
Yeah.
How you doing,
How are you?
I'm good. Spine dog.
How you doing?
Who? This is Jim Harrick. How you doing, brother? I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm good. I'm chilling out, man. Hey, coach, how you doing, man? I'm doing well.
Brian Winters, Milwaukee Bucks.
How are you?
Brian Winters.
How you doing? How's everybody?
Hanging in.
How
Thanks
you
for
doing,
coming
man?
on.
Good.
Thanks for coming on.
And how
So,
did you gentlemen come to meet Tony Spino?
Yes. Yes. This is for my brother, and it's long overdue. We actually had I know that Wayne Embry wanted to come on. He was coming on right to the last second. But he had another interview, and Tony Loftman just got a call. He was coming on too, but he couldn't make it. I think Henry Bibby is coming on. He said he wanted to. I just talked to him like an hour ago. And actually Mike Scioscia and Tim Mead are coming on as well, so of the Angels. So we're just waiting for them to punch on. But everybody, whoever doesn't know out there, my brother is like, he's the biggest star you've never heard of. He's done more things than even some players, because players have to play all the time and they can't, they don't have the time to do a lot of the stuff my brother did. And he's worked with so many stars in so many leagues and college, pro, and he's loved, not just by the players, but by the family. And I think everybody should know that. Brian, how are you, man? I haven't seen you since you were making threes for the Bucks.
It's been a long time. I stay on the ground now. There's no jumping anymore.
You're the only one that can't move or jump anymore. I can't either. Oh man! But everybody doesn't know about Brian. Was an amazing 3-point shooter with the Bucks, and long before there was much of an emphasis on it. I mean, Brian was such a great shooter and a great player, and he was a good man. And we're really glad to have him on. You want to share anything about the Buck days with my brother?
The only thing I remember is Tony had a lot of work on his hands, because at that time, you didn't have a travel agent and a travel secretary and all the things that the NBA teams have now. So Tony's job was not only to take care of us as trainers, but he had to do all the travel stuff, hotels and airplanes and all sorts of stuff. So I didn't envy his job, because it seemed like an awful lot of paperwork and things that you had to do, even other than trying to, help us stay healthy and be well and take care of us. But he did a great job with all of it. And we had some good times, and I enjoyed my time with Tony. It was great. And I've seen him over the years, because I scout for the Pacers, and I've been out to UCLA a couple of times and saw him in the training room there once or twice. And, I'm glad I could get on and wish him well.
Thank you.
Hey, Brian, when you were there with the Bucks, one time you came into New York. I don't know if you remember this or not. I know my brother does. We were at the end of the game at Madison Square Garden. I used to be deadly afraid of elevators. Okay. And I would not go down that little crickety thing. I refused. And sure as heck, I got lost in the garden, and they were ready to lock the last door, and I almost got locked in there. And I go, don't lock that door. And I'm running up to the door. And my brother just looked at me and goes, get on the bus and don't say nothing. Sit in the back. And I had to sit in the back, and I was so quiet and scared. But I actually, everybody was mad on the bus because I was late getting on it. That really happened. I always got locked in Madison Square Garden when I was a little kid.
Well,
That is true.
well, getting on an elevator is never fun, but in the garden, it also smells. So
That too. That too.
it stunk to get on that thing.
Yeah, that's
I
true. That's
think
true.
they brought the elephants up on it or something, you know. for the
Yeah, that's
circus.
right, because they had the circus there. Mhm. They had the circus there. But
So the garden stinks, huh?
well, when they
The back
upgraded
it
it though.
does,
They
yes.
fixed it really nice. They actually fixed it really nice. You never know it's the garden now.
Yeah,
You
it's
never
nice
would.
now, though. Yeah.
Two more guests have joined us, Darrick Martin and Coach Bibby.
Oh, Henry.
What's
I
up,
think
guys?
he's on
Derrick
phone.
Martin, my man. Tony, what's
Hey.
up?
Hey,
Good.
Henry, how are you?
I still remember when you cut me in Oklahoma City.
I know you hate me. I told you it was all political, man. I told you that 20 years ago. Believe me, how I'm gonna cut a UCLA guy.
I hear you. I hear you.
Never wanted
How
to
you
do
doing?
that.
How's everybody doing?
Everybody's good.
Good.
In case anybody don't know, this is Darrick Martin, and before an NBA player and UCLA player, and this is Henry Bibby. This is the guy who was on the last team when the Knicks won it in 1973. And he was you were rookie of the year, were you not?
No,
You
I
were-
I never reached that status. I was
Well, you should have
just an offense, man. I couldn't do all that stuff. I wasn't like those other
Oh,
guys.
you were.
They were
And didn't
good.
you play on the 83
I was
Philly team
below
at one point?
average. I was one of those players that make the team go. Derrick knows what that is. That's what the Lakers need now. Okay.
Yes.
You were better than that, Henry.
I don't know if I
Yourself,
was better
I'm
than
sure
that,
you were a
but-
great UCLA player too. We know.
You're gonna
I was
have
better
a,
than
you're gonna have a
UCLA.
big
I'm a
reunion.
team player. You got to do what's necessary if you're not the star. So,
Henry, you're gonna have a big reunion tomorrow, right?
Tony, you my guy, man. Yes, every day is big when you get a certain age. Yeah, it's a big day tomorrow.
Yep. They're gonna have a 50th reunion with the 72 championship team tomorrow.
Well, it's 50 years. Derrick, that's older than you, man.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know.
yeah. It is. I'll be 51 on the 6th, so that's still older. That's
Oh,
older than
man.
me.
Oh, babies in the room. Babies in the room. Well, when I think it was I couldn't see it. Maybe it was Rob talking baseball, and he took us back some years with Sandy Koufax and those guys, man. That's good. That's good history there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, your brother was quite a pitcher in his own right.
He was
Oh.
decent. Yeah, he was decent.
No, come on, he was good, real good.
Yeah.
Little known fact about Tony Spino, he was a Dodger bat boy. That's how he started his.
That is correct.
That's
I only know Tony from UCLA and Ducky Drake. Tony was the best guy around and working and got things done. Ducky got all the credit, but Tony did all the work.
You know what's funny, Henry? 2 weeks ago, this young kid had a jersey on of Mike, maybe. So I'm just like standing, I'm looking at him at his back. I walked up and go, his father was on the last team that won with the New York Knicks in 1973. And the kid looked at me and goes, what? I go, that's right. And he was a darn good ball player too. And they have not won since that year. Am I right?
And they
Henry?
won't win since that year. It'll be a minute before they put that together,
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
you know,
no, they're
Henry,
hurt right now.
we've got Casey Jones's daughter here with us today.
Yes.
Casey was a great friend of mine. Casey and I had numerous conversations, and that guy got screwed. He got screwed so bad. It's unbelievable. Casey Jones is one of the greatest players and coaches.
Coach.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he was a heck of a
The guy is a Hall of Famer coach that never got his credit. And I talk about Casey all the time because he coached the girls' league. And you tell me, come on, Casey Jones, nothing against the girls and women and stuff like that, but Casey Jones is an NBA coach forever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I agree.
Nice to see you and rest in peace, Casey. And
Thank you.
I've loved that guy for a long time. Casey Jones was just a great humanitarian and just didn't get his due. I'll say that much. I'll leave it at that.